Okay, perfect. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining. My name is Malonga Muchalemba, and I'm the founder of Angolo.com, which is an online media platform whose mission is to change the narrative about Africa. Now, one of our core pillars in Angolo is to support startups and small and medium enterprises, which is why we've partnered with both Connects, which is a platform for SMEs and chambers of commerce around the world, and Internet Creations to bring you this workshop today on branding. So I'm really excited to introduce Susie Hood from Internet Creation, who's going to walk you through today's workshop. So over to you, Susie.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming as well. So me and Milongo, we just wanted to give you more information on why you should invest in your brand, why you should invest in your branding, and why it's important. And yeah, so I'll just there we go. So I've just put in the contents of the day. So I've talked a little bit about branding, what mood boards are, a little bit about colour psychology, and then going further into that, just going into the warm colours, cool colours, why you should choose a particular font, are they important, how do you create your tagline, why is that important, what is a logo concept, and what is the difference between a logo concept and a logo variation. And then just do good and bad logos, and I've done a little video demonstration just on how logos are created, and then going into brand guidelines, and then any questions at the end, just shout out and let me know. So let's get started. So just a little introduction into myself. So I'm a digital marketing executive and graphic designer for Internet Creation, and I specialise in social media marketing and graphic design. I have a degree in visual communications and digital publishing, and I'm also an active portrait photographer, illustrator, and artist. So Internet Creation, just a little bit about Internet Creation. So it was formed in 2000, and it offers complete web solutions to businesses throughout Scotland and the UK. The company is operated by a team whose combined experience of web design, sales, branding, digital marketing gives first-class, efficient and personal service. So the services include what we provide is website design, development, site maintenance, digital marketing, graphic design, branding, web hosting, etc., etc. So quite a wide set of things that we do. So going into branding, what is branding? So branding is the process of creating a strong, positive perception of your company, its products or services in the customer's mind by combining such elements as logo, design, your mission statement, and a consistent theme throughout all marketing communications. Effective branding also helps companies differentiate themselves from their competitors and build a loyal customer base. What do I use my branding for? Every material, every service that you use, you should bring your branding through, your branding colours, everything from your websites, your market materials, business cards, social media posts, everything should have either your brand colours, your fonts that you've used, if you've got a particular style of photography also, this should all be consistent throughout all your marketing and materials. And why do we do this? So this is just to build trust with your audience and familiarise your company, your brand with them. So this will help to let your customers already know you before you even speak. So as soon as they, if they see your brand constantly, consistently, then they'll associate your brand with a company that is consistent and that can trust and is trustworthy. So, and it also lets your branding speak. So if you are a luxury brand and your products are a luxurious product, but your brand looks something else, then someone would instantly not look further into your company, possibly. But if they, as soon as they see your logo and it looks luxurious, it says exactly what it is, as soon as you look on it, then they will invest further and trust your brand just by the visuals you use. So that's even before you've even spoke. You don't need to sell your business, you just need to show them your branding, and then they'll trust your brand as a legit brand. So a mood board. So what is a mood board and what is it for? So it's mainly for inspiration. If you're stuck when you're making your market materials, if you're stuck when you're making your social media posts, then you can revert back to your mood board and remind yourself what colours you should be using. It's more of a visual representation of your brand guidelines. So your brand guidelines are more a worded document, whereas this is more of a visual. If you were, say, your brand was to work with a marketing company, then you could give them this mood board, and then they'll know as soon as they look what kind of colours to use, what kind of photography, that sort of thing. And these can be easily created by yourself by going onto Pinterest. You can create a board in there and then create it from there. So it is easily done, but it is really important that you have this in place. So going on to colour psychology now. So just a general colour psychology. So what is colour psychology? So colour psychology is a study of how colours determine human emotions and behaviours. Going into warm colours, red, orange and yellow, and their tertiary variations are the warm colours. In general, these are positive, passionate, happy, enthusiastic and energising colours. Cool colours, green, blue and purple, and their tertiary variations are cool colours. In general, they are more reserved, relaxed, professional and calming than warm colours. So it's really important thinking about your colours for your branding, depending on what kind of I don't know what the word is, what you want to show through your branding. Let's go here. There we go. So starting off with the warm colours. For red, the positive associations with red are passion, strong emotions, excitement and confidence. However, there is some negative associations which to be mindful when creating your branding, which is danger and anger. So this wouldn't really be suitable for, say, a nursery, because for children you don't want them to be in danger, you don't want them to be angry, so you'd want warm colours, warm maybe yellow colour. So what are the common uses for red? So bright red colour is a accent colour, so just a slight colour, slight pop of colour. And the dark red is a nice combination when it's in combination with the grey and white for more of a professional and elegant look. For a yellow, the positive associations with yellow is warm, cheerfulness, happiness. There is slight negative associations with caution and danger, but these are not as prominent in the red. So common design uses for yellow. So soft yellows for products and services involving children. The soft yellow that brings away from the caution and danger, like the sign that you'd see in the road. So the soft yellows is really good for the children market. Golds and darker yellows are more for an antique look and feeling of a long-lasting appeal. Oranges, the positive associations with orange is excitement, friendly, enthusiastic, affordability and warmth. And the common design uses is for the food and drink industry, because often orange stimulates appetite, which is quite interesting. There's really any negative associations with orange, so it could be a safe bet going with orange if you're not sure. Going into the cool colours is green. So the positive associations with green is nature, growth. You probably recognise, green is probably the most easiest one to guess, because you know it's sustainability, calming, harmony, balance. The negative associations is jealousy and envy, but that's not really with branding. You don't really need to worry about that. So green's quite a good colour to use. So the common design uses for green is nature, renewal, sustainability, wealth. Brighter greens are most common for vibrant, energising designs. Olive greens are most commonly used to signify the natural world, and darker greens best to signal affluence and sustainability. For blue, the positive associations is authority, calming, conservative, whereas the negative associations is sadness and depression. So this is also something you want to think about. So you don't want to really, again, put a nursery with sadness and depression. You want it to be happy and joyful. They want to love going there. So the common design uses for saying that is baby blues is used for young children and products. The deeper dark blues you would maybe associate more with sadness and depression. So the light blues are a bit more cheery, I would say. But light blues for calming and relaxing effects. Bright blues for refreshing, energising feel, and dark blues for corporate designs and other places where reliability and strength are important. And then purple, positive associations, magical, creative, mysterious, spiritual, imaginative, luxurious, and royalty. There isn't really any negative associations again with purple, so another safe bet for purple. But common uses is light purples for pampering and beauty, and dark purples for luxury and wealth. So the reason why I went into deep explanation there was colours are really important when you are thinking about what colour to choose for your business. And it actually helps if you're really unsure of what colour to go for or what colour is associated with your sort of business. You can really look into this colour psychology and what is the common uses and why it is, and that really helps you narrow down your colour palette. Just going to the next one. So fonts, why are they important? Oh, I'll just move this over here. Can't move it over here. So why is a typeface important? When created in the right way, a typeface should deliver the right emotions to the reader and set the tone that will bring the words to life, whilst reflecting the industry it is intended for. So the fonts again really stand out, and someone can relate to your business as soon as they see what kind of font you have used. So the examples on the screen for, say, Garrett at the bottom, I'd say that's more for maybe a food and drinks industry. It's clean, it's easy to use. You could put it on anything really. You could picture it above on a shop window, or whereas Hatton at the top, I would say is more for a beauty brand or a skincare brand, something like that. So fonts are really important. Again. So taglines, how to deliver the best punch. And what is a tagline? So a tagline is a short phrase that states a company's overall purpose. A tagline helps highlight a company's brand to the public. The most important aspect of a tagline is to ensure that it's memorable. Taglines help a brand stand out among competitors, emphasising how they're unique. And I just put in some top taglines here that you'd probably recognise and why they are. So Nike is probably the most popular, I'd say, which is just do it. That's what they want you to do with their brand. They want you to go and just get out there and run, or get out there, go to the gym, and so it reflects their business, even those three words. Again, with Apple, think different. They want you to think different because iMacs, they're a completely different system to, say, Microsoft. So they are thinking different from the norm when everything was Microsoft. Just those two words sums up their whole business. Again, with L'Oreal, because you're worth it, they want their customers to feel like they are worth it and they are worth this product that they are selling. And again, with KFC, it's finger licking good. they're thinking about their customers. What are they doing when they're eating the product? They're usually using their hands, and you're probably licking your fingers. So they're bringing it all back to their business. They're not just putting a random little sentence together. They're really thinking about, again, with Coca-Cola, open happiness. They want you, as soon as you open their bottle of Coca-Cola, they want you to feel happy. So they're telling you you're going to feel happy as soon as you open it, which is, again, just a couple of words. You don't want your tagline to be too long, because thinking about putting it on different things, a long tagline, you could possibly put that on your website, but then if you're wanting on a t-shirt, how long is that going to be on a t-shirt, or how long is it going to be on a business card? So just to think about the transferable ways you can put it across your business. So what is a logo concept? So a logo concept is, the best way I can put it is, if you have an idea, if I came to you and said, what is your idea for a logo? And you had that one idea, that is one concept that you've thought of. Whereas if you say on the left, number one, your idea was the flowers and the writing, and you said, but I would like something else to compare, because this is just one idea. So say you were to ask your designer to come up with, say, number two, which is something, it's the same business, just a completely different idea. So it's two different ideas, but for the same business. You would only choose one concept out of these, is really just to compare, possibly choose things from different concepts, pull them into one concept. So say you like the colours in number one, but you like the style of number two with the clean font, a little bit of handwriting font underneath, then you could bring the colours over and from different concepts and produce one concept. Or you could, if your idea was the flowers, you could say, no, that the number two is completely not my style at all. I definitely want to go for number one. So it's just a way of presenting your business in different ideas. But this is before the final design. This is just looking at different options, different ways, and you can tell it presents your business in a completely different way as well. And it really confirms yourself whether your idea is the right way to go or not. So I would suggest coming up with two concepts at minimum is a really good way to start, because sometimes you can get stuck in that one idea, and there might be another idea which is better, but you just can't see it just because you're stuck in that idea. So what's the difference between a concept and a variation? So once you've chosen your concept, you've chosen your final design, coming up with variations of that design. So it's still the same, same type, same colours, maybe inverting the colours, things like this. So this would be for, say, number one, say you wanted a sticker, but your logo that you've chosen won't work well as a sticker. It's just a variation of that one idea that you've chosen. So you could use it in different ways. So say number one would be a sticker. Number two would maybe be for your main logo. So that would be going on your business cards, things like that. Whereas number three for the flower, that might just come through just if you've got a product and you just want a little bit of your signature there, but you don't want the whole logo. So it just gives you a variation of different styles, different places to put it. And good versus bad logo design. So I've put two on the left that I think are good logo design versus two on the right, which I think are not so good, should I say? I'm not going to say bad because someone's designed it somewhere, but not as well shown. So number one, you know exactly who this person is. You can read it really clearly. It will go transferable, it will go on anything. You could invert it to white if you had a black background. It's quite easy to move about. You could put it small or large and you'd still be able to read it. Again, with I'll come back to number two actually. So number three, from looking at this logo, you have no idea what the business does. You don't know who it is. There's no color palette to it, and the typography is completely different to the icon that's on the side. The icon's very loose and hand drawn, whereas the writing on the font on the left, of the right, sorry, is very rigid and just doesn't match together. Also, it doesn't tell you anything about the business. There's no tagline. You don't have to have a tagline, but it does help just confirm what your business is, what it does. And then number 4, it's hard to read. If it was to put smaller, you probably wouldn't be able to read it. The background is very bitty, is the word I could use, because if you were to transfer that onto something else, then it just wouldn't transfer very well, because just too many little bits. If you were trying to print it, say onto a bit of clothing, because it's not a solid colour, it just wouldn't look good. And then you shouldn't have to put a white banner behind your writing to be able to read it. It should just be incorporated into the design. So just a little bit of thought, maybe quite brutal feedback on someone's logo there, but so yeah. So number 2, I just thought I'd show the Nike evolution to what they are now, or 1995, and just to show you that your brand is a journey. So even though you come up with your final logo design, within say 5-10 years you may tweak it. It's not like us that's the end that you're ever going to have. It is okay to progress with your brand, and as you can see, Nike, well, maybe in the 1964 it was completely different. However, after then they have kept with the same tick. They've just progressed it as they've progressed their brand, which is it's fine. It moves with the times, and it's very, because they're so well known now, they don't even need their name on it, and you know exactly what the tick is, which is incredibly impressive branding. And I'm sure I read somewhere that the person who did the first logo was paid £35. I think it was this one, or this one, I'm not sure, or maybe it was, I can't remember, but now she's been given, I think, shares in the business, which is worth millions, as a repayment. So so that £35 has went a long way for her. So I've done a little demonstration here of just how let's play in there, how a logo is designed. This is a very quick demonstration. I've designed this logo before, but I've just redesigned it quickly so you can see how I would go about designing a logo, but it is a long process. But this is a general quick process. So I'd first start off with just writing down the name of the company and their tagline, because it really helps me know what I'm designing. I then go to the colour palette. They've either chosen a colour palette or I'm presenting a colour palette to them. So just so I have the colours there and I know what I'm working with. For this particular client, they were really passionate about a moon. So what I've done is I've created that first, just so I have that in my mind that it has to be incorporated. I'm not saying it's the right way to do it, it's just the way I do it, and it just helps me remember exactly what's important to the client. I then start incorporating the business name, making sure the business name is larger than the tagline, because that's more important for someone to read. And this particular client wanted a more looser handwritten font for her business, so that's one I've created. However, it is still legible, you can still read it. Although when I was centering these, you can see the P in spirit was getting in the road of yoga, which you'll see in a little second. So I have went in and pushed up the P to make it smaller so I can fit it in so it's all in line. You'll see it in a little second. Just push that up there. Come out. So it is really important that everything's centered, everything has their own has their own place in the logo, and everything is aligned correctly. And I'm just creating some balance here because I felt it was off balance with the logo, the name being longer at the top. Just take me a little second to get that, and then I'll get the guidelines in. So because I do this quite a lot, I can see by eye whether something's off usually, and bring them in. Usually for a final design, I wouldn't do it by eye. I would do it all properly, but just for this demonstration, because I do it all the time, you can see that I can see by eye whether something is off or not. But it's really important to have it all aligned. So these are just guides just to show where it is. So the other thing they wanted to incorporate was crystals. So you'll see me making some crystals to incorporate into the moon, hopefully soon. So this is sped up. I can't remember if I said that or not. So I don't actually work this particularly speedy quick. But whilst I'm creating those crystals, I'll just say, usually just talk about what a usual, what a usual client journey is. So a client journey, usually a client would come to you for a consultation. So you would go to the designer. You'd go to the designer and say what you're looking for. And then the designer would go and research your business and research your competitors, see what's already out there, because the designer doesn't want your logo to look exactly the same as your competitor, because then there's no differentiation. So then we'd go into the initial concepts, present these to the client and have another consultation. We'd then go into refining that chosen concept. You'd have another client consultation, and then after that, once the client's happy, you'd create all their final files, and then hopefully that would be it. Still creating those little crystals there.
Are you drawing those from scratch?
Yes, yeah, that's just.
And what tool is this?
This is Illustrator. What I'm doing it in is just Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator.
Nice.
So it's a little pen tool, so you can make whatever you want. You can create things out of shapes. Like for the moon, I created two circles, and then there's a tool you can take away the front bit of the shape. So that's how I made the moon to start off with. Here, because crystals are everyone's different, so I didn't have to be exact like the moon. So I've just freehand drawn them on there. So there we go. So then once another thing to mention is odd numbers are always good. So you see I've done five crystals there, and that is because as I say, odd numbers are always good. And then I decided that the moon was far too large, it wasn't in balance and proportion, so I've created it smaller. However, then the lines of the crystals were too thick, so I've put the lines down so you're able to see it. And there you go, there's the finished one with the color palette. Should just finish there. Yeah, so that was just a little quick insight on how actually they're created, and then how to bring your logo then into some branding, into marketing. So it's really important after you've got your logo to think of your branding not just a logo, it's your whole marketing, it's your whole everything that you use to bring those colours, fonts, photography through. So this is an example social media post, bringing the purples through and the whites, and then just making sure that the customer can feel the style of your business when they look onto your business. If they're going onto your website, you'd have the exact same branding, so they know it's you before having to tell them it's you. They can tell by your colours, tell by your fonts, tell by your photography that it's you. So, brand guidelines and best practice. What are brand guidelines? Brand guidelines are clearly defined rules and standards that communicate how your brand should be represented to the world. Brand guidelines help businesses ensure consistency and demonstrate what the company is, what it does, and what it stands for. So what should you include in your brand guidelines? You should include your final logo design, and you should show it exactly how it should be represented, how it should be shown. You should show your restricted use of your logo if you don't want it, if there's colours you don't want it associated with, things like that. The do's and don'ts of your branding and your logo. So you don't want people to squash your logo or stretch it. Don't cut parts off, which may seem obvious. However, if someone doesn't know, and if they don't know, then don't know. So it is good to put that in there. Especially this is really good if you are trusting a company with your marketing or trusting your company with your website, things like this. You want them to have the guidelines of what you don't want, and it's all there. So yeah, so you also should show them the space, how much space you want around your logo when it's used. So if you want a really tight space around your logo, or if you want a really wide space, that should be stated. Your color palette, what are your colors for your branding? If you use a certain opacity, or if you use certain gradients, that should all be there. And the use of colors and how you use your colors. So say you had had 4 letters in your company name, and you had 4 colors representing each color, each letter. Then you should say that the H is for purple only, and it should only be used in purple as an example. Again, what typefaces, fonts, what fonts that you use, the tagline that you want to use, and what font is used, what color it's used in. If you're using icons in your marketing strategy instead of photography, then these should be in here. How to use them, what colors, any sample layouts, just to give anyone a sample of what you want it to look like, and any photography styles as well, if you are using photography in your branding. And thank you, that's me. Have you got any questions for me?